Hey everybody, it's Echo. Thanks for joining me today. We're gonna go through my 2025 Physical TBR today. This is by no means my entire Physical TBR, but if you've been here for a little bit and seen my other videos, I moved recently. So I have 92 I think is the actual logged number. I have 92 other books that haven't been shipped here, and I haven't asked for them to be just because I'm probably moving again, but we'll talk about that in a different video. So this is what I have physically on me for right now, and I'm just gonna kind of go through it with you guys. I think I'm gonna start here. So explaining what this is, they're all my book of the month books. You can see by these squares on the end of all of these. They're all my book of the month books. So it has a thing on the front, and they have a marking on the book itself, under the dust jacket. That's pretty much all it is on here. There's nothing too special, but book of the month books. I've been subscribed to book of the month for years. The problem has been that my taste in books hasn't really matched up very well, as while I've been in school. I graduated a couple of years ago. Well, graduated my master's in the fall is what it was, in May, something like that. Oh yeah, I did my thesis this last spring, so just under a year, whatever. I graduated. While I was in school, I wasn't reading a lot physically, as most of the other people, if you're out there, know. It's really hard to read for fun while you're in school reading for school. So I didn't take advantage of a lot of the book of the month stuff, but I got an annual subscription, so I had to use 12 credits up, and my expiration date was pushing in close. So I am putting together a different vlog for that, kind of wondering how exactly I want to structure it. But I spent all of my credits and I discontinued my membership. So what we have here are 9. Yeah, so I have 9 book of the month books here with me, but I do have a couple on audio. I think I have 3 or 4 on audio, 4 or 5. And then I have, like I said, I have 92 other books, and I know a couple of them are book of the month. I have donated some more, so I'd have to check my log to know exactly which ones. But the idea is to read one book of the month club book each month this year. So first one I already held up is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This one was huge a few years ago, and I actually owned it back then, but my cat went crazy and decided to slice up the spines of a lot of my books for no reason. And it was I think it had to be because the other one I think had the gilded letters on it, so it was shredded. So I just ended up donating that one, and then because I knew I had credits, and then I just reordered it with the credits because I wanted to. So Invisible Life of Addie LaRue is, and I'm not going to be looking up the synopses for any of these, I'm just going to tell you what I know kind of about them. So Addie LaRue made a deal with the devil, or a demon or something, who so that she could get out of the situation that she was in, so she could be in control of her own life, so she could do what she wanted to do. The cost of her wish, of the deal that she didn't realize, was that no one ever remembers her after the first time she meets them. So now, because I read the first 100 pages of this before, so I'm gonna just start over because it was years ago. But I guess kind of the plot of this, for the romance part of it, is that she meets someone who does remember her. And so then what happens then? I don't know. I haven't even met the person yet as I'm reading it, but we're gonna read this one this year. I'm gonna start a pile here while I go down the line. The next one is A Song to Drown Rivers by Anne Liang. And I don't know anything about this because it was one of the ones I grabbed when I was looking at all of the synopses for recent books to use my credits on. So I don't really remember what this one is about, and because I said I'm not going to read synopses, I'm not going to, but it's some sort of fantasy. It looks like it's an East Asian fantasy, hopefully based in mythology, because I love mythology. Yeah, September 2024, so it's pretty new. But we have this one. If you've read it, please let me know what it's about, how you liked it, so that I can make a decision on that this year. So I would say this one's fantasy, the other one's fantasy romance. Next is a romance. So it's Instructions for Dancing by Nicola Yoon. And this one I was really excited about. For some reason, I've really enjoyed fan fictions that have like a dancerly plot to it. I was in Zumba for a few years, which is definitely not the same thing, but I really like the physicality and like the emotions that you go through while you're doing it. So I wanted to try this out, and I don't remember what the tropes are or anything, but I was really into it when I was reading the summary. So Instructions for Dancing is romance. Then we have Lunar Love by Lauren Kung Jessen. And it's another romance. It's East Asian, but I think it's like about astrology. So I don't know if was there some sort of like celebration in here or like a festival of some sort, where somehow she and this other person are written in the stars to be together, but they don't want to be. If I recall correctly, like I said, I don't really remember very well, but I've been eyeing this one for over a year now. And it feels like I'm gonna give it a 4-star. Like I don't think it's gonna be a 5-star read, which is why I haven't bought it until now, but I wanna try it anyway. I am curious about astrology, even though I don't know too much about it, so I want to try it. So that's the second romance. This one I think is the most literary fiction I have of the lot. So Dirty Diana by Jen Besser and Shanna Fest. And yeah, I don't know about this one. It was really interesting to me because it's about sexuality and autonomy for women is all I remember about it. I think it's a literary fiction. Yeah, so novel, so it's definitely not like a memoir, but it's more introspective. Because I've been reading a lot of romance and I'm trying to read more fantasy, but this one's gonna be more of a thought provoker probably, see how it goes. And it is actually shorter, so if I want a short book at some point this year, that would be good. Yeah, it's like just 250 pages. So next is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, and I haven't read an Abby Jimenez yet. I own the special editions for Yours Truly and the other one because they came together in a book box. So then I got this one from Book of the Month because it's pretty, everybody says it's nice, everybody loves Abby Jimenez. I don't remember if this is, oh yeah, so the plot is, see, I'm guessing, right? This is a guessing game. Is these two people who are used to dating people, and then when they break up, that person goes and finds their forever match, shall we call them, their soulmate, their like whatever. So now they're like, well, if we date each other over the summer, then we can break up and then we'll find our forever people. So, but of course they end up falling for each other. So that's the plot of this one, and I am excited to get to it because of how that is, because I like the fake dating stuff, right? So it always ends up getting flipped around somehow, and so I'm really curious to see how it goes, especially because people are talking about how Abby Jimenez is always on the mental health side, but like dealing with the issues that come with mental health struggles and things like that. So gonna give it a shot. I don't know if I'm gonna read the other two Abby Jimenez first, but this one's on the list for this year. So let me know if it's okay to read them out of order like that, because that's the most recent one. Next is You Again by Kate Goldbeck. And I just got this one because of the foliage. It's very fall, so I'm not gonna read it in January. I'll probably read it in the fall. And this was another one where I was like, I don't know if it's gonna be a 5-star for me, but I think I'll enjoy it. So I'm gonna give it a shot. So another romance for our stack. I think we're up to 4 straight romances now. Next, second to last, is A Sorcerer Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. And T. Kingfisher is another one where a really popular author, but I haven't read anything from them yet. And I want to. The other one that I'm most interested in reading is Sword Heart by T. Kingfisher. So if I stick to the fantasy ones, we'll see how it goes. If I read this one and I love it, then I can read that one, and then I can try the more horror stuff from them. So we'll see. Also, can we appreciate this cover? This is probably partially a cover buy, honestly. Like, you can't see how, there you go, how fine it is in the tree. But I'm so excited to read this, and it is actually another short one, probably under 300 pages. Oh, 324. But I think that was the acknowledgements. So that's another fantasy. So 2 fantasy, 4 romance, 1 lit fic. Is that what it's looking like? Finally, Anna Maria and the Fox. I have been wanting to read this one for years. It's weird because I don't really like historical fiction, like historical romance, but this is historical romance. It's Latin based. I don't know if they're in the UK or if they're in a Latin, like American country, but we'll see, obviously, as I read it. But I've been wanting to read it forever, and it was an option in the Book of the Month catalog, so I used a credit on it. So let's try and read it this year. So I think out of 9, that's 5 romances. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. 5 romances, 1 fantasy romance, 2 fantasies, and a lit fic. So that's the Book of the Month stack. And again, we'll kind of go through the actual Book of the Month vlogs as I'm going on this year to see which ones I end up reading on top of these, because I need to read 12, and I have 9 physically, 4 or 5 on audio, plus a couple physically elsewhere that I'll just probably borrow from the library and would still count that because I own it physically. You know what I mean? So that's my Book of the Month stack. These ones over here that are short is literally just Lore Olympus volume 1 and 2. And I love Lore Olympus. I have read it before. It is a huge webtoon. I'm gonna take this sticker off. It's a huge webtoon, and I've been following the webtoon since before the first book came out at Barnes & Noble. And I've really enjoyed it. I really like the tale of Hades and Persephone told from Rachel Smythe, and how everything goes. It's not just like straightforward. There's a sticker gone. But I want to read it again. And I've read volumes 1 and 2 for sure. I think I've read volumes 3, maybe got into 4. But I'm very behind. I haven't read it in probably 6-8 months. So I'm very behind, so I want to start over from the beginning and go from there. So that will be a lot of fun, I think. So that makes 11. Let's go over here at the top because these are all the same. So The Promise, another sticker. The Promise Never, oh, another sticker. See, I went to Half Price Books, okay? Because I don't have a Half Price Books at home, so I went here. And The Promised Neverland, volume 5, 6, 7, and 8. So, I think I've read 5, but this is a manga series that follows middle grade kids in a very adult dystopian world. You find out in the very first section of the first book that it's basically a child farm, and the children are being used to feed demons that now control the world. And so they obviously don't want to get eaten. So they're trying to escape and survive in the world somewhere. So there's 20 volumes in this series. It is complete. I think I'm 5 in, and I have been really enjoying them. I only just read a couple at a time. I don't usually like binge the whole thing. So I technically have 3. I don't know if I've read 5 because I did this before where I tried to read 5 but I hadn't read 4, so I got really confused. So I don't know if I've read 5 since then. Okay, I have read 5. I was just looking through the art, my bad. So these are 3 volumes that I haven't read that I'm going to try to read this year. The next 2 are a little bit more difficult to try and gauge, and there's a receipt in here. And more stickers. So Jake Jackson is the one who does these mythology collections. Yeah, myth, legends, folk tales, and stories from around the world is kind of what the little line says on the back, little tagline. And it's an entire series, and it's huge. It's a very big series. So I have Greek and Roman myths because that's what I've always learned, right? I was a Percy Jackson kid. When I was in my undergrad, I had a professor who was obsessed with Mesopotamian, Greek, and Roman. And yes, they're technically in the Mesopotamia, but whatever, right? She was obsessed with it. She did her doctoral in it. She's amazing. She's so amazing. So I took all of the classes with her that I could manage and loved learning about it, right? Because sometimes myths are written in ways that are really difficult. This looks like it's translated into prose instead of like the more poetic kind of format. So I'm excited to get back into those. And as a writer, I'm so stoked to try and do reimaginings of them. So I want to have the core. So I have Ovid's Metamorphoses at home, and I really like that collection. I think I have it digitally, so I'll keep going through there. But because I had a few Jake Jackson collections before that I haven't read, I just grabbed this one. So I have Greek and Roman and Polynesian island myths. So that's what I have physically here. Physically at home, I have Scottish, Japanese, and Chinese, I think are the ones that I have from this collection. But we're adding these two onto the 2025 TBR because they're here, right? They're what I have here. I'm gonna try and read what I have physically here before I even read what I know I own physically, but is not here. But we'll see how that goes. So let me know your favorite myths, especially if they're Greek and Roman, because I am familiar with a lot of them. Next in our line, this is my fantasy section. If you can't tell, then we're gonna go to romance, and then there's my miscellaneous over here because it's just overflow, but it's probably just mostly romance anyway. Next is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst, and I put this on my October TBR because I was so excited to read it, but I got so busy, and it was kind of crazy trying to do all the job hunts and things. But so excited to read this because it's nature magic, and I've been wanting to read nature magic fantasy books, and it has a romantic plot line in it, so it should be a little bit easier for me because I've been reading light stuff through school, etc. But it's something about she ran away to an island with, it's not a pet, is it an alive plant, a sentient plant or something, and started a tea shop, but she's using forbidden magic to make her jams or teas. And doesn't want to get found out, and falls in love with somebody there who could find her out. So that's that one. So excited to read it. I'm just gonna make a stack actually, so I don't have to keep sticking it in there. This one I know is a little bit controversial now, but it was on Black Friday deal, and excuse me. So Fourth Wing, Rebecca Yarros. I was part of the Smut Salon book club with Katie Coulson when this came out, and everyone started going crazy about it. And like I said, I hadn't been reading fantasy a lot, right? So I wasn't gonna get pulled into the hype. I never read dragon books, whatever, but then everyone started loving it, being obsessed with it. Everybody who doesn't read fantasy and doesn't read dragons was loving it. So I was like, fine. They sold me on it, right? Because it was the unofficial book club pick until Katie hated it, which is hilarious. But I had an audio, right? I listened to 13 hours of it in a day. And so I'm about probably 60 to 70% through it. But I never picked it up after that day. I don't know if it's a pacing thing or what, but I'm not going to start back over from the beginning, but I'll see where I am in the audiobook and probably go a couple chapters back and go from there, because I kind of know the context. I have some spoilers now. Oops, right? But I'm going to finish this one, and I think I'm still going to count it as a read because I'll be finishing it. Plus, it would be still 250 pages or 300 pages that I'm reading, so I'm counting it as a book. So Fourth Wing. Last fantasy is The Games Gods Play by Abigail Owen, and I'm so excited to read this one, but I'm so scared to read this one because it's Hades. It's a Hades mythology, fantasy, romance situation. I think it has Hunger Games kind of situation with the having representatives go through this big competition fight to the death. And so Hades never picks a representative, but he picked her. And they fall in love, I think. Like, I think it has to be a romance, right? I think it's a romance. This USA Today blurb does not say romance. It says unique fantasy. She'll fight for her life for the god of death. It just sounds like it's a fantasy romance, right? So I'm guessing it's a fantasy romance. It's beautiful. So I want to read it. It is also huge. It's over 500 pages. Let's stick these back up there so that I can grab the romance stack. Next, The Nightmare Before Christmas by Sarah Raish. I'm dying to read this one. It is a buddy read for January with my two best friends. And none of us have started it. It was supposed to be December, January reading, and none of us have started it, but all of us want to read it. Because I love gay stuff, and one of them is gay, and then both of them. So I haven't read Red, White, and Royal Blue, but they were obsessed with it when it came out, like the movie. And so they haven't read a book in the last like 5 years, they literally picked up the book, they bought it, and they read it cover to cover, and then they rewatched the movie, and then they made me watch the movie with them. Like, if I can get them to read, then I will read a royalty book, is kind of the situation. I don't ever read royalty books. They're not my thing, which is fine. But this one sounds so fun, and it's a queer romance, and it's the air of Halloween, which I'm down for. I don't like Christmas, but it's also the air of Christmas. The sequel is coming out in a couple of months, and it's with his brother, and the heir for St. Patrick's Day is kind of the situation. And the author really does good marketing on TikTok. I am so intrigued by the snippets and the quotes and the hooks that she's using in her marketing stuff. I'm so down for it. So I'm gonna read it. I really need to finish it this month. I'm going to finish it this month. So I don't want to put that at the bottom of the stack. I'll move it over here. Next is Pucking Sweet by Emily Rath. And this is one I'm kind of worried about because I want to read it so badly, and it's a beautiful cover, but I'm pretty sure it's the third in the series. Yep, Jacksonville Ray's book 3. It's the third in a series. And while a lot of romances they're standalone series, I like starting from book 1 and seeing how I feel about it all. I have the first 2 books on audio, not physical. This was another like $5 Black Friday deal that I had at the Walmart here close by. But I might start it. I might just try it because it's physical, because it's on my Physical TBR, to see how many of these I can knock out this year. But we'll see how it goes. So Pucking Sweet, Emily Rath. Should I count it if I read the first one this year? I'll just like check it off. We'll see. We'll talk about it. Let me know if I should count it or not. Next up, Daydream by Hannah Grace. It is another hockey romance, which is why I stuck it with that one. It is also the third in a series. The first was Icebreaker, which was huge when it came out. I read Icebreaker. I enjoyed it. I think I gave it a high 3-star rating. It has more spice than I go for typically, but I think it's just like they're college kids, so I feel like college kids have a lot of wild stuff going on. Anyway, I was not interested in the plot of the second book, so I'm making the conscious decision not to read that one. Wildfire. Summer camp is just not my setting, personally. The trope I wasn't really intrigued by. So I'm just going straight into Daydream, because why not? Next up, I got this one Black Friday at Barnes & Noble, is Paris Dalencourt is About to Crumble by Alexis Hall. I have not read an Alexis Hall yet, I believe. I don't think I have, but I'm kind of obsessed with their plot lines and their tropes, and like their covers. This is such a cute cover. Also, I'm like a sucker for like a Bake Off AU kind of situation. I read Love and Other Disasters by Anita Kelly a few years ago, and I loved that. It was a baking competition that was queer, sapphic. It was amazing. So I want to try this one so I get a taste of Alexis Hall, and see if I love it, you know. I'm excited. Next up, this one's also another fall one probably, is Morbidly Yours by Ivy Fairbanks. I had this on my October TBR, but I didn't get to it. He's trying to take over the family business, but it's that like inheritance trope where there's something in place that he has to get married in order to accept the business, in order to like have it. So she comes post-divorce, and somehow they like strike a deal. And of course they're gonna like fall for each other after that, but don't know how that's gonna go. And I think he's, I don't remember his exact occupation, but obviously it has something to do with not cremation, but it's undertaking business. There you go. So we'll see how that one goes. And it is also very short as well. So about 250 pages, I think is what it is. Next, Love at First Book by Jen McKinley. And this one is a girl who takes a job with her favorite author in the Emerald Isles, and her grandson runs a bookstore for her, or she's working there too and doesn't know that they're related, kind of thing. So she falls for her favorite author's nephew, grandson, something like that. I'm really excited for this one. I'm so curious. It reminds me of a couple of other books that I've read. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. Next one is probably the only YA on here, because I don't read a lot of YA, like consciously. It's just not my speed right now, which is fine. But this one was too intriguing to pass up. So it's Exes and Foes by Amanda Woody, and it's poly rep. So we have these two who are besties and who have been besties for years, and I don't remember if they're competitive with each other or what, but then she starts coming to school with them, sounds like it, and they both have a crush on her, and so they're like, well, whoever gets her to kiss them first is the one who gets to date her. But of course it kind of devolves from there. So I'm really excited to read this. It sounded really intriguing to me when I saw it in the first time. And every time it came up, even though I was consciously trying to avoid it because of the YA stuff, I'm just too intrigued to pass it up. So I got it, and we're gonna try it. Next one, My Vampire Plus One by Jenna Levine. And this one is the second book in the series. I own My Roommate the Vampire, but it's at home. I want to read that one first, I do. So we'll see what I want to count with this. Again, let me know if I should be able to count the book one for this book that I own here, because I own it there. So let me know what I can count, what I can't count. But this one's a fake dating one, so of course I'm down for the fake dating thing. This one's also vampire, so it might be a fall one, but it might not. Last in the stack is, oh, okay, so I have two YAs. Check and Mate by Allie Hazelwood. The only reason I own this one is because it's Allie Hazelwood, and because it's beautiful. So I got a box from, I don't want to get it wrong because I think I know which company. It doesn't have the company on here. I got it in a book box with Bride, and beautiful art. And I love Allie Hazelwood's writing. And I have the Illumicrate version, the hardback version of the first three of the Steminist ones. So it's Love Hypothesis, Love on the Brain, Love Theoretically. I have them in a special edition, and I'm pretty sure it's this artist who did them. So while the color palette and like the tone are different, and this one's paperback while all the rest of them are hardback, like I love that art and I love those books and I love this author. So I just got it because I didn't want to miss out on the special edition because it's beautiful. And it's like, the complaints that I've been hearing about the book are that it's YA, but people read it like these characters seem like adult, not young adult, like, you know what I mean? So it reads older than it is marketed to be, is kind of the complaint that people are having about this, which means that I might enjoy it. So we'll see how that goes. That's the original cover. But I have Check and Mate. And then, like I said, I have Bride by Allie Hazelwood as well, with a nice foiled situation. This is also hardback. It was special made, so. Anyway, this one I'm stoked for. It's Allie Hazelwood's first paranormal romance that she's published, but she's well known for writing paranormal romance fan fiction that's great and Omegaverse stuff that's great. I haven't read any of them because I don't know what user she goes by or anything, and I don't seek people out typically in fan fiction. I just enjoy the fan fiction I want to enjoy. But everybody who loves Allie Hazelwood and loves paranormal romance has been talking about it, and I don't care about the nodding stuff, right? I've read it. I've written it. Like, I don't, like, that's awesome. That's fine. And so I'm not gonna get traumatized like some of the other Allie Hazelwood fans have been because they're into romance and like closed door and stuff like that. And not paranormal. That when Allie Hazelwood comes out with the paranormal, they get it because it's Allie Hazelwood, but then they're traumatized by the nodding. And I'm not gonna be traumatized. So I'm super stoked about this because it's like Romeo and Juliet because it's the vampire versus the werewolf thing, and it's an arranged marriage, which is a fake dating kind of situation, because I like marriage of convenience. So I know this is arranged, like it's not convenient, it's a deal between communities, factions, whatever you want to call it, but I'm so excited to read it. So that one is one I'm also excited about. And let's just finish this off and I can put it back up there off camera. Next is The Bromance Book Club by Lisa K. Adams. And I've started this one. I'm halfway through it. But I'm reading this one in preparation to Sports Romance Con, which is going to be at the end of February. And I was really excited to read it, and I thought it sounds really fun, where it's a bunch of dudes getting together, making a book club to help them. So they read romance books and learn from it, like study them so that they know what to do in their relationships, how to communicate with their wives and their girlfriends and stuff like that. So the first one is about this baseball player who just got kicked out of his house essentially because he just found out that his wife has been faking orgasms since they got married. And he's devastated about it. And so his guys are like, come join our book club. We will get you, like, let's try and get you and her back together because you still love her. Let's try and do this. Let's teach you the language. Let's, you know, it's interesting so far. It's kind of funny. I really love the friendship group dynamic is my favorite part so far. So we'll see how it goes. Again, halfway through. So finishing that one up this year. Next, This Fatal Kiss by Alicia Jasinska? This one, isn't this another YA? Yeah, it says teen on it. So another YA. I'm so sorry, I apparently have 3. What am I doing? This one I pre-ordered from Barnes & Noble when it was the 25% off deal, and I'd been eyeballing it all of last year. So then when they did their fall one, I just went for it. I just did it, okay? And I switched my address so it came to me here, and beautiful, look at that. Anyway, I think she's a Kelpie. Like there's some sort of nature spirit or like, yeah, something like that she is, that either she's trying to pull him into the water like a Kelpie does, or he's falling for somebody else. Like it's something like that, and I'm really intrigued to read it because I love folklore and, like I said, mythology and stuff. So I really wanted to read this and see how it goes. And that's pretty much all I know about it. Second to last one, here we go. Beach Read by Emily Henry. I didn't really have this one on my TBR. I've read Book Lovers by Emily Henry, but nothing else yet. But it was a $10 off $10 on the Black Friday sale, and it has cute cover. And I don't like the normal cover, so I was like, I like this one better. It's not that different, but it's better. So I just got it so I can try it, because everybody talks about this one being their favorite one. I think People We Meet on Vacation is everybody's favorite one, and then it's this one. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I know nothing about it. Last one is actually not even my fault. I didn't buy this, okay? My parents bought it for me for Christmas because this, you can tell, I'm from Fairbanks, Alaska in here. It's like right in the center of the state. And this is our hockey team, the Ice Dogs, who I love, my parents love. They got season tickets for. I stole a lot of their season tickets last year. I go with my friend. I've enlisted her. She has season tickets now, even though I'm not there anymore. I drove 3.5 hours to go to the hockey game when they were close by, to watch a game, now that I'm out of state. So they play, our home arena is the Big Dipper. So this is like nonfiction about the Big Dipper. So it's the arena that it's in, and part of it is gonna be about the Ice Dogs, but then it's like other history too, because there was like the big flood that was down there. It has illustrations. So it's just some information about that, some stories about how it happened, how to shoo away a moose. Oh, that's nice. But that's what this is. So I'm just gonna see, I don't think I'm gonna finish it this year just because history is not something I read a lot of. So even though it's just over 200 pages, I just don't know how far I will get in it. But hopefully, like, they had this like Russian B team story that was incredible about the Ice Dogs back when they were the Gold Kings. So I'm so down for it. And that wraps up our physical TBR. I'll put these back up there after I cut out the video, but yeah, so this is the situation. I'm so excited to try and read down as many of these as I can, because I am trying to be reasonable. I haven't read a lot of physical books in the recent years. So like I said, 12 book of the month books, one a month, and then 12 of the other physical books here. And how many, okay, let's count them. So there are about 25 books, plus the book of the month ones. So it would be about 50%, if I do manage to read one a month. So we're gonna try it and see how far I can go. If I can read 2 of those a month and clear this, that would be incredible, but we'll see how far I get. Otherwise, thanks for checking it all out with me, going through everything. If you've read any of these and wanna recommend me anything, drop it below, please. Please tell me which ones I should pick up first, because I'm thinking Nightmare Before Christmas because it's a buddy read, Bride because I've been wanting to and I'm making my friend read it, and so she's mad at me for not having started it yet. Bromance Book Club because I've already started it. Promised Neverland would be an easy one to like read 2 or 3 volumes for, to like catch up on something. Fourth Wing because I'm halfway through it already. Spell Shop because I'm stoked about it. Lore Olympus are rereads, but I love them anyway. So like those are kind of what I'm thinking. Also the Paris Dalencourt one I think would be the next one I'm excited about. Let me know down below what you think. Thanks guys.